because they're stupid. They're not succeeding because they were never given the gift of. And if you don't have it, it means your parents did not educate you properly. To stop the nonsense about AI.
This isn't right. It doesn't make sense at all. It is literally replacing many jobs everywhere we see. How can we survive in this rapidly changing society?
One of the most important secrets to surviving is that we do not panic and get hysterical. And when I listen to some of the statements about artificial intelligence, I'll tell you what it reminds me of, Bruce. 23 years ago, in 1999, there was an international panic. They called it Y2K, the year 2000. If you look up Y2K panic, you'll discover that they sounded then exactly the way people sound now about artificial intelligence. The reason they said was that computers would not be able to switch over to a calendar that starts with a 2 instead of a 1-9. And this will mean the water supply will switch off, the electricity will switch off, and everybody's going to die. But let's go back a little bit further. In 1913, Henry Ford started an assembly line that started turning out Model T Fords at the rate of 100 a day. The world had never ever seen that kind of manufacturing before. And all of a sudden, America, in the space of only a couple of years, went from a horse transport society to a gasoline internal combustion transport society. And here's what people said back then. How are we going to survive? All the jobs that used to have to do with horses and wagons, all those people are going to be out of work. And what's more, we're going to discover that the human body cannot survive speeds of over 20 miles an hour, and everyone's going to die. Big panic. Nobody died because of speeds more than 20 miles an hour unless they collided with something. It turned out that the automobile created many more jobs than ever used to be in the previous economy. You can go back further, 1930, when a British economist by the name of Jevons warned about the use of coal. Coal's going to kill everybody. It's going to be a problem. My point is, Bruce, that people who are not mature people and people who are not thoughtful people find it very easy to slide into panic and hysteria. It's even seductive. There's something appealing about, oh, we're all going to die. Oh, the terrible things are happening. In most cases, those things do not come to pass. I wasn't around, and neither were you, when fire was invented, but I'm quite sure that people said the same thing. The guy who discovered that you can make a fire and cook food and make food better, I'm sure everybody went into a panic and hysteria, how dangerous and destructive this was going to be.
Oh.
Now, that doesn't mean that nobody used fire for bad purposes. Sure, there's some bad players. And in the same way, artificial intelligence is no more of a shattering development. So I think it's time for mature and thoughtful adults to stop the nonsense about AI.
I see.
AI is a tool. It's a useful tool. And just like fire or anything else.
Oh, some people might argue that ChatGPT can destroy people's creativity, literacy, and things like that. What do you think?
Bruce, do you know what I mean when I say that train left the station already in 1970? And it's called television. Television already reduced the attention span of people. I can prove it, Bruce. I don't know if you like old movies, but if you look at old black and white movies from the 1940s, do you know how long the average camera shoot was? How long did a camera keep on one particular scene or one actor or one thing before changing to another scene. It was more than a minute. Do you know how long it is now? Contemporary movies and contemporary television? Less than 15 seconds, because people no longer have the ability to concentrate for long periods of time.
Wow.
It's one of the reasons that wise parents don't let their children spend a lot of time looking at screens. Much more important to do what you did, which is read a book, because that develops the cognitive processes. But watching television is a completely passive process, and it harms us. So any worries about what ChatGPT will do to human creativity, forget about it. That damage was done decades ago already.
That does really make sense.
There was a case just happened in the United States where a lawyer developed his arguments on ChatGPT. The trouble is that he didn't check that the cases that ChatGPT cited were genuine. They were not. ChatGPT just made it up. What happened? The judge censured the lawyer for that, for bringing imaginary cases into the court. You could say this lawyer was harmed by artificial intelligence, but he was actually harmed by his own stupidity and laziness.
I really didn't think of it that way. Fear always comes in a new way, right?
You've got to recognize that fear is a weakness. It's a natural human condition. We must fight against it.
Anyways, parents are panicking about the intelligence. Many jobs are disappearing, right? So what do you think the most important skills for the future is?
Self-discipline.
About
everything.
May I ask why?
Sure. In England, there is quite a large underclass, a large population, over 1 million people who've never had a job, don't work, and live off government money. Why are those people not succeeding?
I don't know.
You know, it's not because they're stupid. It's not because they have any intrinsic handicap. They're not succeeding because they were never given the gift of self-discipline.
I see.
To go to work and serve customers and obey your boss every day takes a certain amount of self-discipline. Not
Exactly.
everybody has it.
Oh.
And if you don't have it, it means your parents did not educate you properly. It's not enough to know what the right thing to do is. Many people know the right thing. It's much harder to do it. That takes self-discipline.